Next week, I'm going to be meeting some actual billionaires. I'm going to St. Bart's, which is an island that mostly retired hedge fund billionaires and multi millionaires live. And just the flights to get there are ridiculously expensive, but a opportunity like this only presents itself once in a while. So I'm going to prep myself with some of the questions that I might ask some of these guys to try and learn as much as possible and gain as much value as I can because who the hell gets opportunities like this? It is absolutely remarkable. So, one of the questions that I ask a lot of mega successful people is something along the lines of how would you define success? And by those metrics, would you consider yourself successful? I've gone over this in a previous video. But nonetheless, as a selfish creature, I do want to know because I like to develop my own understanding on this subject. And most of these guys are considered hyper successful by any human. So this kind of reverses the psychological role. And I always receive incredibly interesting answers. Something else, most of these guys are hedge fund or ex hedge fund managers. So something that I would be interested to know is what was the biggest risk you've ever taken or with your portfolio with regards to pretty much anything? And what was your emotional state while taking that risk? Because I know there'll be some day when I need to make a decision if I'm going to buy or sell something huge or make a catastrophic purchase in my business or delegating some sort of task that involves a lot of mental bandwidth that is jumping a leap of faith a huge risk. So hearing someone tell their perspective of what their biggest challenges and risks were, I think it will reshape my perspective of what real risks are. Because these guys are probably going to be, well, I was wondering if I should put a yardstick on the 20-year euro bond future, and a yardstick would be $1 billion. And then they would go on and spew some nonsense. I don't know. I have no clue what kind of answer I'm getting. Just spitballing here. Never met these guys. I would probably ask themselves, at what point did you stop doubting yourself? Did you ever? Were you incredibly confident? What was your mindset when you were making money, when you were losing money? Just understanding what their thought process was with regards to their ego. Because with regards to making money in my confidence in myself is way up here a lot of the time. But at the same time, I feel pathetic all of the time. So I feel confident that I'm going to get the shit that I need to done and I'm going to succeed. It's beyond confidence in a very arrogant way almost. But at the same time, I'm almost flip-flopping with feeling pathetic. And it is a very weird vice versa that I don't exactly know where that goes. And I'd love to hear somebody who's been through the ropes in every single manner of life, what they would think. I would probably ask them what responsibilities do they feel having so much money? Because if I ever are in a situation, let's say a billionaire, just throwing that out there, are there additional responsibilities with having that kind of wealth? Because especially with regards to raising children, this is something that I would ask a lot of questions around because rich children have the highest suicide rate because you have nothing to live for. Imagine for a second if you knew no matter how hard you worked in your entire life, you would get everything that you always wanted. You could have the mega boat, the plane. You would get everything without ever having to work hard. That is a scary sight. Why work hard? And that's what happens. They have no purpose. They have no mission. A lot of these mega successful people, their kids they suffer, and a lot of them kill themselves because they have no reason to live because they have everything they could ever want. And unfortunately, there's a huge divide. Right after that St. Bart's, I have an event that I'm going to that is $50,000 per year for 4 meetups a year. I'm invited because I'm friends with the host of the meetup or of the event. And I asked a lot of those people who most of them have a net worth between maybe 10 and 100 million. So definitely not billionaires. And most of them are still slaves to their own job. Some of them aren't, but some of them are. And, or I meant to say slaves to their business. And there's a huge divide. Half the people, their kids are becoming mega successful. The other half, they're saying their kids are just useless. They don't do anything. They have no motivation. They're incredibly lazy because they gave them everything they ever wanted because that's what they thought they were supposed to do because that's what their parents wanted for them. And I know that I would not want to spoil children if and when I plan to have them. I just don't know what the right aspect is. And that is something that I'm wildly curious in as to what these actual billionaires have done to try and raise their children with a mindset that they had to become successful, yet at the same time contemplating that with the fact that they know that they're mega rich. So maybe you just have to tell the kids, hey, this is my money, not yours. Go fuck yourself. But then you're also a billionaire. So then does that cause hatred amongst your kids? So what responsibility does that lay on the father or mother of the kids who know their parents are wildly wealthy? That is a major concern that most people don't think of because they think, oh, we're rich. Great. I love hearing stories from a lot of these guys from back in their day. It is I can geek out and listen to that all day. Just kind of shooting the shit and listening to them talk about their failure, successes, what they learned from it, the values that they gained over time due to X, Y, and Z, how their emotions shifted, or how their ego, or how anything shifted at some sort of pivotal point, and what that was. A lot of them, kids, change their perspective on a lot. And then, what do you do with this information? Is the real question. Do you do nothing? If you don't do anything, you aren't learning because you aren't taking any actionable steps. It's always great to expand your network and talk to these people and learn as much as possible. But if someone gives you actionable advice, let's say someone says, if I was 21-year-old in your shoes, here's what I would do. And if it's a great idea, what do I do? Do I change my route as to what I'm doing? Do I stick to my plan or do I evolve my plan to incorporate something like that? It is a very, very difficult challenge. I've gotten many, many, many job offers by impressing hyper successful people. And how do I impress them? By asking diligent questions, by avidly listening to what they're saying. And I mean being genuinely curious. And I am. I love this. And I'm super fucking curious in what they're saying. So I'm asking very intelligent follow up questions that maybe they go on a 5-minute monologue and I say, hey, by the way, what did you mean by this? And then they realize, oh, wait, you're actually listening. Or one of the key things that I learned from a buddy was repeat what they said back to you in maybe one or two sentences. So try and summarize it to show that you understood what you were saying, and then add a counterpoint or an additional a layer upon that and see if that's still correct. And never me showing my own intelligence doesn't get me these jobs because these guys, if they like to talk about themselves, everybody does. So let them. And usually that provides you with time to talk about yourself as well. Great, that's what a conversation and having dialogue amongst humans is about. But it has worked magically for me. So I've been offered so many great opportunities by these types of people, and I turn all of them down because I'm trying to stick on my course. But who knows? Because one of these opportunities could be the best opportunity I've ever heard in my life. And then what do I do? It's always, always tough. You're going to say, oh, yeah, that's a great fucking problem to have. It is, it is, it is. But if you want to build something large and great, you can't shuffle between shiny objects every 1 or 3 years. You stick with something for 10, 20 years. And this is a mistake that one of the guys that I work with that I look up to, I would call him my mentor, which is a cringy thing to say, but I would. I'd take admirable advice from him. The reason why he didn't make 100 million, $1 billion isn't because he's not the smartest in the room. In fact, he's smarter than every single business owner I've ever met. Period. Actually, there's one guy that's smarter, but the one of the most intelligent humans I've ever met in my entire life. And he never really scratched a business past $10 million a year. And he owned like 40, 50% of that because he would always bounce around. He'd get bored. He'd say, oh, wow, I kind of got the hang of this. I'm just go to a new business. I kind of got the hang of that. I'm gonna go to a new business. And he kept on doing that. And he thought that was a perk. Whereas I see that as a flaw. Why not find a way to still own the business, yet give up your power and let the free market and your business continue to compound and grow? Because I know that if I asked him, hey, what if you stayed in X business for an extra 15, 20 years? Where do you think you'd be? Oh, I'd be making $150 million a year right now. Easy. And not only do I believe him, I think he'd be doing more. But The reason is he didn't stick with it for a long time. He kinda stifled, gave up, started doing something else because he got bored. Okay, well, great, dude, you're so fucking good at business, you can start another one, but that's why you never really got fuck you money. You don't have a private jet. But he should. That's the problem. He should because he's so damn good at what he does. So I want to stick with something that I love. I love what I'm currently doing. So if I get an opportunity in this space, I think I would take it in the space that I'm currently in. This is besides the point though. You know, I don't know if you guys, no one watches every single one of my videos. Why the fuck would you? But I often talk about and think about thinking in larger time increments because of recent things that I've seen from very successful business owners. Alex Ramosi. And if I'm prepping for this kind of weekend endeavor, like, 4 days, where I will be meeting hundreds of people with deca millionaires or hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, I am trying to prepare as diligently as possible because this is an opportunity that I don't think I should just go into flying blind. I'm trying to actively think of more unique and intelligent questions to dig down and grasp as much information as I possibly can. Maybe they tell me to go pound stand. Who knows? I don't know who the hell I'm meeting. I just know I'm going to be there. And it's going to be a good time. Let's see what happens. I'm the luckiest fucking human on the planet Earth. I'm 21 years old and I'm going to be exposed to, and I have been exposed to, the most intelligent people ever. I think that this would be valuable if you want to check out how I got here.